All right, awesome. Good stuff. Seems like we got people from all over the place. I'm glad we got someone from Canada as well. That's a big plus. So obviously, Pat, could you just take us through, how you got up to Notre Dame hockey in terms of your hockey journey?
Yeah, I think we can just start from the beginning. Kind of like everybody, I started skating when I was younger. Um, Started just playing around here, and where I live is Millis, Massachusetts. Kind of a small local teams called the Tri Valley Indians. So it's kind of where I kind of fell in love with the game. Skated the rink right down the street from me, and from there I was pretty lucky. I played for the Minuteman Flames youth team, which is out of Marlborough, Massachusetts, and I was there from when I was 6 all the way up to 13 my last year in middle school. So I had guys on that team like Henry Thron, Sean Farrell, um, a lot of other D1 hockey players, but I would say those two guys have been making great careers for themselves as well. So it's kind of great to see that. And then from there for high school, I did the prep school route, which a lot of people do in New England. I went to Noble and Greeno, which is just outside Boston, in Massachusetts. I was there my freshman and sophomore year. Loved it. Had a great time. And ended up going to the national team program. My junior and senior year in Plymouth, Michigan, which was obviously an amazing experience to play international hockey at such a young age and kind of just experience many different things that other kids my age weren't doing at the time. And then from there, I was at Providence College for 4 years. Had an amazing time. Met a lot of great people. Obviously playing a lot of big games, and then have Notre Dame coming up this year. So a little bit of a journey, and it kind of always is, and it's always different from other people. But excited for the year to come and kind of get things going.
For sure, it's definitely a great journey. So let's get into it and all the things that have happened along the way. So, one of the big things that you mentioned was playing at the USA National Team Development Program. You made that decision to go there at a young age. Was just wondering, what is the key and any advice that you have to making a good transition to moving to a different place and playing on a new team and making that all work?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was we were all 15 and 16 when we moved out, and obviously it's a little different to be living on your own at that age. And I think the biggest thing for me is just kind of get out of your comfort zone and get to know people, get to know their backgrounds a bit, and kind of just putting yourself out there and kind of taking a leap of faith. Because look, you're in a situation where you're going in, you don't know too many guys, and you're living with a billet family and people you don't know. If you kind of just take it for what it is, and put yourself out there, it'll translate onto the ice in a great way. You're just more confident in your all around life as well.
Yeah, that's it was a great experience as well. But I can tell just based off of success you had at the MTDP and World Juniors, you built a lot of chemistry with a lot of the guys from your class. Guys like Trevor Zegras, Matt Boldy, Cole Caulfield. What is the key to just building that team chemistry off the ice so that when you do go play, it's a positive experience no matter what's going on the ice?
Yeah, I was lucky. I mean, obviously, I had a great group of guys on the team, like you said there. I think the best thing is we all play hockey because it's fun and we love it, and we love to do it for the rest of our life. And when you share that with a team of 20 guys where you kind of all feel the same way, and you love hockey so much, it's pretty easy to kind of become very close to guys, and you're kind of going through everything together, and you're surrounded by the guys 24/7. And I think if you just really put, like kind of said before, just kind of put yourself out there with the guys and fully embrace it, and care about each other. That's when a lot of special things happen. And I'm blessed to be able to be part of that team for 2 years. I'm still friends with a lot of the guys and still very close. So it's definitely a cool thing to look back on.
Yeah, for sure. And it's awesome to look back on that experience and carry it forward as life goes on. So I was just wondering, you get to Providence College. Your first year was, very impressive. You're fourth in the nation in power play goals. I know hockey players don't really like talking about their stats, but on the power play, you were one of the best in the nation. What is the key to just getting off to a good start on a new team like that in college, where you really are kind of starting over?
Yeah, I think going into it, the best way for me was to just do my best every day, and take it one practice at a time, and even kind of bring it down to one drill and one shift. You don't want to get to far ahead. And I think for all of us growing up, we all goals. If it's yearly, if I want to have this many goals or this many points. I think for me, which I kind of learned, is just have a great practice, have a great start to your practice. And when I kind of took that simplistic mindset, kind of the games kind of felt a little bit easier, and took a little stress off as well. So I think coming in to college hockey at 18, kind of just having that mindset, helped out a lot.
Good advice. And like I said, it was a great first year and a lot of great years after that. It's going to be awesome to see what happens in Notre Dame. So you had a lot of time in that USA jersey. You got some more time playing the World Juniors, but at first you had to go through a tryout. And I know maybe at times people might think, oh, I put this jersey on before, I'll make the team again. That's not the case. We've seen guys who played at the NTDP who didn't make the World Junior team. I was just wondering, do you have any advice for our members on the call tonight about, playing in a tryout that, is really important to a player?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is when you're in those situations, obviously, in the World Juniors for me was a dream and something I always wanted to do. But the biggest thing is confidence. And I think it could be from, the NHL level to, youth hockey. If you're not confident what you're doing on the ice, you're not going to be successful and be able to play your game. So I think the best thing is just have fun with it, do your best, kind of try to block out all the noise and just have fun and roll with it. It's a lot of these camps we kind of attend now are kind of, once in a lifetime things. And, when you have that USA crest on, even if it's on a practice jersey, you're still pretty something special. So for me, I just kind of fully wanted to take it on and kind of come in with it with some swagger. And, luckily things worked out, but I think just kind of keeping that mindset day to day helped me a lot.
Thank you. It's very helpful. So obviously it's continuing the World Junior topic of discussion. So obviously you guys get to that gold medal game. You won it, but I mean, what a game it was going into that. You guys got what you wanted. The Canada-USA matchup, everyone was excited about it. But you guys were the underdog to a lot of people in that game. I think, Canada had at least a dozen pros at the time for that team. Just what is the key to playing well in a game and ultimately winning a game where some people think you're the underdog?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of crazy going into that game because I know they had a record number of first rounders. It was almost like every person on their team was a first rounder. And I think for us, we were such a tight knit group, and a lot of us played together at the program beforehand and knew each other going in. So we had some of the best team chemistry I think I've had kind of in my career so far. And for us, it was almost kind of like us against the world. We kind of knew what we had in our locker room, and we knew like what our top guys could do, what our goalie could do. And our biggest thing was kind of like, Bill Belichick, just do your job. And nobody wanted to go outside of that. If your job is to get on a forecheck or was to score goals, there was many different ways to, affect the game. And I think from, our four lines and all our D, we kind of just played, our positions and in our roles, and we just ended up executing better than them for that game.
Yeah, you guys got that first goal and there was no looking back. Get the second one, and then you guys are world champs. This isn't an advice question, but I was just wondering, what did it mean to you guys to win that championship? Because your group got that gold medal, but there was just a lot going on at the time with COVID. And I talked to Brett Berard about this before. You guys had trackers. You were really in the hotel room, and that's it, or at the rink. I mean, it was really a mental, exhausting type thing. I mean, what was it like to just win the gold medal after having to go through so much?
Yeah, it meant the world to everyone, and I think it was definitely a little bit different where our camp was a lot earlier before we had to go to Edmonton, and we were there for a long period of time because we kind of had to be quarantined in Michigan, and obviously when we got there in Edmonton. So just with everything going on in the world, and obviously for us being able to play on TV and kind of have everybody watching it meant a lot, and we had a lot of support through the country, and obviously from our friends and families around. And I think for us, we could just kind of feel support from everywhere, and what we were doing was special. So to be able to play as well as we did, and ultimately win gold, and kind of have those friends and family in your corner through kind of all areas of it, it was special and something I'll definitely remember forever.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing game and moment for USA Hockey, and probably give a lot of inspiration to people watching. So just want to talk about this past year at Providence with the team. There was a lot of guys that were veterans on that team, including yourself. In terms of just advice for this, you guys had a good record going into the second half of the season, but there were a lot of, frustrating one goal losses. You guys could have turned it in, but, you gave it your all in the Hockey East tournament and made it to TD Garden, upset Northeastern along the way in their place. What is the key to just sticking with it as a team, as a tight group, and knowing that we just got to stick with it and things will, turn our corner and we'll have a good end of the year?
Yeah, I mean the hockey season is one of the longer years in terms of sports wise, and you're bound to hit adversity if it's early in the year or kind of where we hit it, which was kind of towards the end during that second half. And for us it just wasn't to kind of go crazy. And obviously it's frustrating in your moment and you want to try different things out. And a lot of times guys will start, playing a little bit more selfishly and trying to do it more themselves. I think the biggest thing is just kind of stick to why we're here, why we're playing at Providence, why we came in, and kind of what we wanted to accomplish as a team. And we had many team meetings throughout that second half of, what can we do, what should we do, but we all had those principles that come into the year and goals we wanted to execute. And I just think for us, communicating those out in front of us and just sticking with it together, it made a big difference for us. And we did go on, a little bit of a run at the end of the year there and came up short in overtime against BU. But that was definitely a special group of guys. And we battle kind of through adversity and, hardships like that, it makes the group even tighter together.
It's good advice. Definitely take back and realize that it's a marathon, not a sprint in a hockey season. So you're going to Notre Dame now to do your graduate year. You're at two different schools like Providence and Notre Dame, but obviously they're great schools. Just what is the importance of being a student athlete, and obviously the importance of just going to school as well along the way of your hockey journey?
Yeah, it's special. I think being able to represent a university and a body of people, and you have the support from everywhere. And I was lucky enough to kind of go into Providence after they made that Frozen Four run, and we always had great support throughout the city and state of Rhode Island, and our barn was almost filled every night. And in terms of Notre Dame, it's somewhere kind of growing up, always been watching obviously the football games, and many of my family members have always been big fans. So for me, it's kind of almost a full circle moment to be able to go there and throw that jersey on and kind of experience something different outside the Hockey East and be part of the Big Ten and play schools like Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin. So I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I'm really looking forward to get things going.
Yeah, for sure. You can't be putting on that gold helmet either every day. That'll be awesome. So just a little specific questions. I just wonder if you can emphasize, how important it is to, when you're away from the rink, if you're at home, to take advantage of that time and get better. And maybe do you have any maybe some specific drills that you did along the way that helped you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was it doesn't have to be even special in net. You could have a tarp against a wall, or even like Sidney Crosby was using an old washing machine. But for me, it was just always shooting pucks and kind of having that repetition and stick handling. But I think the biggest thing for me when I was younger, I was obsessed with hockey, and anytime it was on, I watched it. And then the next day I watched NHL Tonight or NHL on the Fly. And when you start watching hockey and you kind of grow up and you understand the game more and more, that's when you'll be on the ice in a practice and something you watched from, you watched them Bruins, something from Marchand's game or Bergeron's game, you randomly kind of throw into your game a bit, and you try a move they tried. It kind of expands your mind a lot and makes you think the game in different ways than other people. So I think that the biggest thing is, if it's for you and you enjoy it, should always be, shooting pucks and trying to better yourself in any way you can. If you can have fun with it. I remember when I was younger, I used to always do little puck tricks where you kind of see guys do, where you're flipping pucks around just to kind of pass the time in the summertime. But I think if you have a stick in your hand, I wouldn't think too much for it. Just enjoy it, try different things out, and kind of just watch as much hockey as you can.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. So before we get into the Q&A from the audience, I was just wondering, I forgot to ask this with the power play thing. As a freshman, you excelled highly in that, scoring power play goals. If some of our members are on a new team or their team currently, they're trying to find a special thing to get them on the ice, more time, whether it's a PK or anything. Do you have any advice on trying to find your way in that?
Yeah, I think for me, I was lucky enough to play with great players that could find me and be able to put myself in spots where I could get the puck in. Kind of like what I was just saying, I always kind of grew up shooting pucks and worked a lot on kind of one-timers and quick moves in front. And I think when you practice things like that, they're always going to translate to the next level. And even if you're on the PK, you can always work on your defensive game. Being a two-way player is more important than ever now. And I think a lot of people forget that in today's game. It's a lot of flashiness and skill, obviously, and it's fun to watch. But the two-way guys are or more needed than ever. So I think if you're a penalty guy, if you work as hard as you can and get in lanes, there's always an opportunity for you in the penalty kill and playing special teams.
Awesome. Great advice and great answers. So we're just going to have a few Q&A from the audience. If you guys want to drop your questions in the comment section where we had you drop where you guys are tuning in from tonight, that'd be great. We'll answer some. Okay, from Brendan, what path do you take to get to World Juniors?
Yeah, so World Juniors is usually from, I'd say, 18 to 20. So from your senior year to high school to probably your sophomore year of college, and there's kind of it's almost kind of like when you're trying to commit to a school, they're watching all your games throughout your college season. You have the summer showcase, and for us, our COVID year we didn't have this. We just had a big camp of 2 teams of about, I guess, the top 50 guys in the country, and you kind of just keep going back and forth from Plymouth, Michigan, where USA Hockey Arena is, and you're always getting evaluated. But once you kind of get down to it, you just keep kind of playing your game, and you'll get a call here and there, and you try your best, and hopefully things work out. And that was kind of just always my mindset. Someone's always watching you, no matter where you are. So I kind of just stuck to it, and lucky it all worked out for me.
Thank you. All right, awesome. Definitely worth the hard work and experience to get to that point. Thank you for a great question, Brendan. So from Nolan, what is your style play of hockey? Do you like to think of yourself more as a playmaker, a scorer, or maybe like a hybrid mix?
Yeah, I think for me, my biggest thing is my versatility, and I love playing in all different situations. The man up on the power play and the man down the penalty kill, and being late in games, and being a guy that our coach can rely on to go out there to score a goal or go out there to block a shot and help the team win. I think something for me is I love shooting the puck. I work on it a lot. So when I'm on the ice, I'm obviously, everyone loves scoring goals, and that's something I try to do. But I try to impact the game in any way I can. It's making plays with my feet, my hands, finishing checks. There's so many different ways you can influence a hockey game. So for me, is just using my versatility and just having some type of impact on the game.
Awesome. Good question, Nolan. Let's move on to, all right, Quinn, thanks for chiming in. What other sports did you play growing up besides hockey?
I played a bunch of different sports growing up. I think that's one of the biggest things too, is what helps you out in the long run is kind of all that athleticism you get from different sports. My dad played baseball and football. He never really played hockey, so I was always into football growing up. I played baseball up to my junior year of high school before I left for Michigan. And for me, I'm from a small town, and growing up, you just hop on a bike and be at the basketball courts and play, some wiffle balls and basketball, some tennis, anything we could really get our hands on. So I think more than anything, the best thing is just to be outside and have fun with your buddies. Because in any which way, it's going to translate with if it's hand-eye or kind of anything from other sports. So any ball I could get my hands on, I was happy to do.
Awesome, thanks. So do a couple more. Coach Cody, thanks for asking. Did you skate 12 months out of the year playing minor hockey prior to prep school? Since the prep school season is so short, what did you do at that age as well to continue to develop your game, given it's a short season?
Yeah, so I'll go one at a time here. So for me, prior to prep school, I took the summers off. I played summer baseball a lot, so I'd probably say I skated from September to March or April, and obviously I kind of sprinkled some different skates throughout the summer. But something with my family is they kind of wanted me to get out of the rink during the summer and try different things out, kind of experience life differently. So definitely up until prep school, I was doing all sorts of different things over the summer, not just hockey, but kind of once you get older and you mature a bit, you realize this is what I want to do. So once I got to high school and stuff, I was kind of full go at it. And ever since, I'm still the same way. So for the next one, yeah, prep school is a little weird. I think the season starts kind of beginning of December, late November, and for me in the fall, I would really just work out, do some kind of weight training, and play on a fall team. And the biggest thing for me was I skated in high school with Paul Vincent during the week, and Ian Moran, who'd run skates and with a bunch of the local prep hockey guys. So for me, was in the fall was just kind of not just staying in shape, but just finding ways to get better in a small period of time. And you don't need much. You can learn something in a second and keep working on it. And by the time the season rolls around, you're executing it. So I think for me, it was just finding ways in the fall season to help myself out and make sure I was ready to go when come December. And then for the last one, career goals post hockey. I'm not really sure. I'm definitely a social guy, and I like talking to people and be involved in the community and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I don't have anything specific. I'm sure it's going to be involved in hockey somehow. It's something I always wanted to do. So I'll have to kind of circle back in a couple of years and get back to you on that one.
Awesome. Well put answers. So let's do a couple more. Dawson, thanks for asking. How old were you? Oh, thank you, Coach Cody. How old were you when you made your first AAA team?
I believe I was like 7 years old. That was my minor year with the Minuteman Flames, and I think I was playing defense at the time too. And I think that was something kind of cool for me, was to start at kind of a different position when I was younger, and then I eventually kind of got moved up front. But I couldn't even really, I didn't really even know what was going on at the time. I just went to a couple tryouts. Really liked the coach. He was all about us having fun first and then learning the game, and was a perfect scenario for me. I'd love to give him a shout out. His name's Mike Moore. He's one of the best coaches and people I've ever met. So he definitely helped me a lot with kind of where I'm at today.
Awesome. Thanks, Dawson. So before we wrap up the questions, Pat, I just have one question that would have typed in, but one thing I always found interesting that you guys had to do as NTDP players was eventually move on from the team and go play college. What was it like seeing and playing against your teammates in college, like Matt Bowlby, Trevor Zegras? That must have been weird at times, right?
Yeah, I think at first it's a little different, kind of looking across at some of your best buddies in a separate jersey, but it's also awesome. I got plenty of memories of playing Z at BU with Alex Vlasic and Dominic Fensori, and kind of stopping by between games and checking them out. And it makes things even better. You kind of get into little fake scruffles, and you're kind of always joking on the ice. And you've been together for so long when we were at the program. You kind of know how to get under each other's skin and dig at each other. So it made the games even more exciting. And being in the Hockey East as well, it's such a tough and demanding league. Every weekend, and you're playing someone or one of the buddies from the team. So it was cool. It's definitely a cool experience, and I look forward to hopefully playing those guys again at some point.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be a cool experience. It's got to be even unique for some of those guys to play against each other in like a bean pot tournament or things like that. Definitely really cool. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Pat, for doing this tonight. Really enjoyed having you guys all here. Continue to do the work, and more information will be put out when the next Zoom guest is scheduled. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming.
All right.